My name is Joan Wangari. I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2011. On this particular year, I started feeling unwell. Then I couldn't understand what was going on with my life. First, I had symptoms such as loss of weight, jaundice. I was feeling bloated. Then one of the signs that made me go for a medical test is itching. I started itching all over my body, especially at the palm of my hands. This prompted me to go to a nearby pharmacy looking for some drugs to release my uncomfortableness. So I went there, took some pills. Then after some days, this didn't work. So I decided to go for a hospital visit so that I can know what was going on with my life. At this particular time, I had started losing so much weight, such that even neighbors started telling me how I have lost weight, how I have changed. They even asked me if I have been hospitalized. That's when I realized things were not good. So I went to the first hospital. Even the doctor didn't look me in the eyes because the signs were all over. They gave me some pills. I went back. This didn't work. I went to 4 different hospitals. I was even misdiagnosed with hepatitis C. When they told me to take those drugs for hepatitis, this didn't work also. So the itchiness is the one that continued. So it made me so uncomfortable. I couldn't sleep at night. I was even crying. I was even thinking if it was pain was even good than itchiness. It was so uncomfortable. I used to take a stone and scratch my body with it. So when the symptom persisted, I went further to look for further medical attention. I went, and in one particular hospital, I was told to go for a scan. When I went, they did a scan, but they found out that I had a tumor on my pancreas. They told me to go for further tests. I went very many tests, and finally they came up with a solution that I had a tumor that was causing obstruction. That's why I was itching. It was obstructing bile, so it was not moving in a normal way, so it was stored in my skin. That's what caused the itchiness. Even my skin had turned into another color. So they told me the only option is to do a surgery so that they can remove the tumor so I can be relieved from my itchiness. At this time, I didn't want anything else. I just wanted these things to be removed from my body. But luckily, I had a medical cover, which made it very possible for me to get good medical attention. So at first, where I was living at the coastal town of Nairobi, of Kenya, but I had to go back to the capital. This place I had relocated when I just finished school. So I had to go back to where I came from before. So I went, did a surgery in one of the best hospitals, but what I didn't know that the surgery cost a lot of money. So when I was hospitalized, I was not thinking about the cost. I was not thinking about anything. I thought that the cover will cover everything. But unfortunately, yes, it did. It covered some amount. But at the end of the surgery, I was told to add some amount. So this one it was a wake-up call. I was happy. I was relieved from the itchiness. The itchiness went away, but the doctor told me just to stay for a biopsy test. So I stayed for a month. The biopsy results were out, and I was told now I had to go for another sessions. I was told to go for another session of treatment. This is where the reality hit me because of the money. during the first round, I went to the best hospitals. I was treated nicely. But this time, because the surgery, the amount that I paid on surgery surpassed, and I had to pay from my pocket. So I was like, now what do I do? I moved from those hospitals. I went to a public hospital because I didn't have anything to do. Because I was told by the insurance company I had to top up the premium times 5, which I didn't have. So I opted to go to a public hospital. At this time, I was like, how can I come from this place, the place that I was treated nicely, well, then I go to a public hospital. But I had to do it because of my health. So as I was, before I heard that the stories that about the public hospital, they don't offer good quality health care. But now I had no choice. I had to go there, started my treatment, and into my luck, they accepted me immediately, and I was told to come for the chemotherapy. And I came. One of the things that struck me, it was, at first, I was not worried. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what cancer was. That's when I did a lot of research and I realized what cancer was. Then I was devastated, even coming to be treated in a public hospital, which was the medical care is not the same as other places, so it was devastating to me. And knowing that I was still young, going through chemo, this really devastated my life, but I had to. So at first I went for the first round of chemotherapy, which I had to pay from my own pocket. Remember, I had stopped working since I got my first diagnosis, so I had no money to pay for the medicine for the chemotherapy. When I finished, I did my first round, which is first line. I did with a lot of my financial constraints. So it was very hard for us as a young family. So when I went back to the doctor, I told him about the hardship. He was very good. He was listening. He told me now, after my first line, the cancer had not cleared. It was still there. He told me now you need to go for a second line. I went. I told him I don't have money and I won't go through the treatment because we have done everything for the first round, but now we don't have anything else to do. So the doctor told me, now what I'll do, I'll put you on a chemo that will be coming to the hospital, spend 3 days in a hospital so that the NHIF insurance can cover you. So that's what I did. I used to go to the hospital for 3 days, been given chemo. I went back home, recuperate for a week or 2. Sometimes it will depend. So I used to go back. In the first place, I used to go once a week. But when I did 3 sessions, I was told I'll have to go 6 sessions. I had to go after every 2 weeks. So that's what I did. At first, the chemo was not so harsh. I didn't lose my hair. But the second line was very, very harsh. I lost all my hair. My nails turned. I was a young girl now. Everything changed. I remember when I was going to the hospital, I used to find people there sitting, very old people. Then I'll cry. I'll even ask God why at my young age. It was so hard for me to think that I had cancer. And I was young. I even thought maybe God could have waited for me to be old enough maybe to raise my kids, then when I'll get cancer. So I persevered everything. I went through chemo. My family was supportive. After I did my last chemo, after a year, I conceived and gave birth to a healthy baby. Now I want to tell this. I have been using my story to inspire people. When you are diagnosed when young, you can still have life. There is life after cancer. I got my baby. She's now 5 years old, very healthy and strong. I also advocate for cancer in my community. I come from informal settlement where I usually encourage people. I usually tell them cancer is not a death sentence, and I'll continue inspiring people and giving hope. Yeah, and I'm grateful for life.